Well, we can go and have a look at the downstream section now. Rather than go back up through the gate, we sneak under the road through this little tunnel, which is there obviously to allow floodwater to go through. So this is the downside of the bridge. Leeds sign. And it must go down here, I would think, for, oh, if it isn't a mile, it won't be far short. The river is much more open, below the bridge, being grazed by animals. And at the very end there's a great pool and it swings right. And Leeds do in fact have this one field opposite here. I have no idea how you access it, and I've never seen anybody fishing it. And I think with the fishing being easier on this side, I don't think anyone ever will fish it. So at this point the river swings sharp right. It's quite popular with fly fishermen, this little bit. It's shallow, gravelly, and a nice steady pace to it. To continue, we need to go through that gate over there and just follow the path round to this little bridge and down to that wall there where there's a little gate goes through. When you go across the little bridge, the footpath goes left, and that's the little footpath which I mentioned earlier, goes up to Harmby through that red gate there. So you could park in Harmby and walk down here. So it's very windy at this point. Whether the wind affects the sound, I don't know, but anyway, the river comes down here, swings sharp right. There's an island there which is shown on the map, and then makes its way down there for about 200 yards before it makes a sharp left turn. So there's the island. And this is looking down that long length before it swings left under the high banks on the right hand side. This stretch is very deep down this length. There's a few willows opposite, which is quite unusual, and there's some nice pike in here. So the river swings left round this big bend, and Leeds have the bank opposite. And you can see there a Leeds sign. That's the top limit of the opposite bank, and you access it via a little track off the road between the bridge and Middleham. And parking is quite difficult for that stretch. It's much easier to fish from this side than that side. I've never actually seen anyone fishing that side, and parking is quite difficult on the opposite side. You know, these are cows and calves wondering what I'm doing. So having come around that bend, it runs alongside the road for a while here, about one field away from the road. And then away down there where it takes a right and undercuts the bank all the way down. So fishing is very difficult beyond those trees there. It's quite shallow, the river, at this point, and I've seen people wading here fishing dry fly, under the trees opposite. You get these big trout lurking. So it comes down here and round this right bend and undercuts this bank all the way around, so it's fishing here is impossible. Down there where it takes a sharp left and it goes round in a horseshoe to over there. So we'll follow this horseshoe round. So this is where it swings left, undercuts the bank on the far side, you can see there. Willow trees opposite. But again, it's still very steep on this side, you can't get it down to the river here. And as it continues to swing around left, you get this sandy bar on the inside, which round this corner leads to a great big gravel bed. And you've got deep water on the outside of the bend there. Sandy on the inside and this great big sandbank on the inside of this bend. As I say, deep water all the way down on the opposite bank, and then it widens out as we approach the bottom of this length. So there you can see the big sandbank and this great big wide sweeping bend. It's way around there towards the Spennithorne stretch. My understanding from reading maps is that there is a big culvert that comes down here and goes into the river at this point. And this is the bottom of the Leeds stretch. I think that little bit where that goose is standing, that field there, is not Leeds. That's the drain making its way down to the river where that willow is there. Where this track goes across it, it changes direction and goes up there towards a footpath. And the footpath is a continuation of the track from the old horn in down past the cricket field. It continues as a footpath across here, and I'll make my way onto that and then make my way back to the car. It's much quicker than walking all the way back around that river. I'm standing with a little gate through the wall, so if you want to make your way straight down to the bottom, and you want to make your way directly back from the bottom, you aim for that little footbridge there in the middle of the field. You aim for that little footbridge there behind those sheep. That will take you directly down to the bottom. There's a little interesting packhorse bridge. Just downstream of this this more modern bridge over this little beck. So simple, but lasted for centuries. Having walked all the way down there to the bottom limit, where that big gutter or drain comes in, I made my way back across this little footbridge here and up to the gate and then back to the car. I'll go and have a look at this opposite bank, up past this little group of houses here to this parking place, and then make my way to the top limit and then follow this round back to the car and then away. This turn right here is very awkward and dangerous, so just carry on up here for a little way, and there's a place up here where you can just turn around and come back, and it's much easier to get into there and not as dangerous. So that's the next little bit, and then that's it. The car's coming the other way again, priority. So I want to turn right there, but it's a really awkward turn. Blind, so continue up here. Just where you go around this corner, on the left hand side is the little track that leads down to the Busks fishery. On the left here I can turn my car around, hopefully. This little post box as a main goes down there, and that takes you to Leeds, Busks. As I say, parking is difficult. I want to take this left turn here, follow this track down. Past the house. Here, you just turn right right and you park there. So we park here. Wants to be in there, probably not. Look. So you park here. So my car is parked there. The river is there. And there's a Leeds sign on the tree there just by the gate. So I just make my way from here to the very top limit and then wander back round following the river. Well, this is the post. It says Bear Park Fishing Club, private fishing, and then underneath it says the remnants of a Leeds top limit sign. Whether someone's taken exception to it and knocked it off, I don't know. But there used to be a separate post here for Leeds, which has obviously disappeared, probably in a flood at some time. Anyway, this is the top limit on the right bank. So over there was where my car was parked on the Wensley Road when I first came. And there's the big tree sitting in a field. So this is seeing it from the other side. And there's one peg there. And there's one peg there. So parking on the Wensley Road really is only for these two pegs. Which obviously coarse fishermen like. Very chubby and barbly they are. And they seem to be quite well worn too. On this side, coming down from the top limit, I haven't seen any access to the river at all yet. So just coming further down, there are the willows on the other side, which you can't access the river through, they're a bit thick. But you could get down here at a pinch. It's very deep, you wouldn't want to be falling in. But nobody, it would seem, has been anywhere near the place. Further down you just come to this absolute wilderness of willow trees on this bank as well as on the opposite bank. So I must have come down about 300 yards. There's wilderness of willows here. And the first access is here. It's very shallow on this side, deep on the outside of the bend. But you can get down here and fish that deep water there. Under those willows on the far side if you're a coarse fisherman. And then just down from here the water breaks. And where it breaks and runs over these gravel beds, on the inside here are some sort of sandbars gradually being taken over by willows. You can get down to there quite easily. Fish that run down there. And that's where I was earlier on, where there was that deep gutter which you had to step over. If you fell in it, you'd probably break your leg. The water comes down and breaks over these gravel beds. Very pacey on the far side. It comes round the corner and makes its way down to the horseshoe. Just see a nice trout rising there. Move away from the main river at this point. A great massive wilderness, as you can see there. So there you can see the river coming down past that undercut bank where I was standing earlier, round this corner where the big gravel bed is, and away down there to where the car is parked. Oh, just found a dead barn owl. What a shame. Oh, what a tragedy that is. Well, my car is parked there, and there's a great big access down to the river at this point, on this corner. Let's go and have a look. Well, it looks idyllic. Ha. Coming down there, swings round left. It's quite shallow on this side, and makes its way down there towards the bridge. Lovely. So I've just driven back along the lane a little bit past the houses, and this is the final field which I'm going to look at, on the right bank, going down towards the bridge. So they are the popular pegs on the opposite bank, on the left bank, going down towards the bridge. Straight across from me is the little stile, which takes you upstream, but there doesn't seem to be much in the way of access on this side at all. There's very deep water on this side. I can't see anywhere where you'd get onto it. It's very steep. Well, there you have it. There are the houses by the bridge. There's the bottom limit. Leeds members sign. So that's it, finished. I'll just make my way back up to the car. Well, there you have it. There's miles of it. It's taken me nearly 4 hours to walk it and video it. It's been a grand day. The only problem is that it's always windy up here. So if the sound quality isn't very good because of sort of wind noise, then I can only say that there's really nothing I can do about it. But I don't think it'll detract from the actual the river and the fishing bit. Anyway, home now. It's 5 o'clock, and sit and put my feet up. So from the Max River here, on this, so I think it's the 3rd day of autumn, 25th of September. We'll see you another time. Take care. Bye bye.